Okay, so this is going to be a kind of quick video because my mom is out in the car. So, quick update. Nova still has the bumps as she is so sexily showing off. No, she's just resting her leg. And I think she's in heat because she's got all this diarrhea, keeps lifting her tail, and her is a little swollen and wet, so I think she's just in heat, but I'm going to keep an eye on that diarrhea for sure. It's like streaking down the back of her legs and her tail's all wet. I don't know if you can tell, her tail's all wet from the diarrhea and stuff, but so she still has the bumps, and I'm running out of spray, and she was getting impatient, so I didn't get to spray them all. But okay, so this video is primarily about this is for anybody who isn't used to being around horses, who doesn't really understand them. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're not around horses, it's okay. You don't have to know everything about horses if you aren't going to be interacting with them. But if you do want to know, so she knows I have this apple. So I guess we'll start with giving treats. So this apple, this is probably going to be really messy, and I'll have to go into the ooh, you see it. And I'll have to go into the bathroom to rinse my hand. But so if you do have a horse, or you're starting to get a horse, so make sure to watch out for the teeth, obviously. She did pinch me just a little that time because I'm not concentrating, not really focusing on how I'm giving her treat. So if you are interested in hanging out with horses and you like to give them treats, and you want to give a horse like a bunch of apples, first of all, don't give them too much of anything. Their primary diet is grass and hay, so you really shouldn't focus too much on, I know, calm down. She really wants the rest of that apple. Anyway, I'm sorry, I lost track of what I was saying, but if you're going to give them a bunch of apples, make sure to get rid of the seeds. The seeds are okay if you give them an apple once in a while, but the seeds are actually, they contain a certain poison. Are you itching your head on the lockers? I can't really tell. Anyway, I'm not used to doing this with my left hand. Oh well, this is a little bit more difficult for me. So she's only 2, and she's not got an amazing big mouth and jaw like some other horses, so I like to give her a little bit at a time. But I forgot my knife today because my mom is here and we were kind of rushing out the door. But oh, what do you know, I don't think that's weird, there's no seeds in this apple. There were seeds in the other one I gave her. I just gave her another one too. So so get rid of the seeds if you're gonna be giving apples often, because they do contain a poison, and in concentrated doses you can make your horse really sick. So get rid of the do you want this? Okay, I can give her the rest. So generally horses will know to be careful of human fingers and stuff, especially if they're used to getting treats. But if they're getting treats too much and it becomes sort of an addiction to them, they might not be focusing. So should always be careful doing that. Let me rinse my hand in the office here. So that's with apples. Apples are a little bit easier because you don't have to, they don't look like baby carrots or something. They don't feel like it. So they can usually tell, hey, this thing doesn't feel like it belongs on this round thing. There's no towel in here, so I'm using my pants to dry my hand. Baby carrots are a very common thing to give a horse. Oh, hi. Hi. And they're sweet because they've been juiced up, and they're a little bit more, okay, it's close. They're a little bit more, either easier to eat. I do occasionally like giving Nova some of the big carrots that you can get from the store, kind of like what Bugs Bunny used to eat. So we'll give a couple carrots here, and she loves carrots. Ooh, carrots. Ooh. So I do have them all in one hand, so this might be a little bit different than usual because I like to give it to her one at a time. So really stick the carrot out there if you're not used to giving this to horses, and they can usually tell. She did kind of, if you notice, she did kind of go back for my fingers because they're nice, wet, and cold, and they kind of smell like carrots now. But so just make sure that they grab the carrot and then immediately move your hand. If you really want to be so weird, you can I guess you can do this. Their lips are kind of like human hands, so they're very flexible. They have good grip. If they drop a carrot, no big deal. You can either point to the ground. So sometimes I'll point to the ground, and she'll look, because I do this with all my animals. Point to the ground, and then they. Okay, hang on. Take a break. Break from carrots. What? No break. So I kind of messed up the program now because I've already given her treats, but she usually gets treats after I'm done brushing her and stuff, especially if she's a good girl. And she was a little impatient today, but she was generally good. So this high head that she's got, my finger is going up. Horses can't really look up. This is about as high as she's going to be able to go. So that's why they like to stay out in open pasture as a herd, and as opposed to being around too many trees or something, especially depending on where they live. If there are large predators in the wild, like sorry, I just got a text I was reading. Do you want another carrot? So they usually stay together and out in the open. So when you're a child, and you're up with, this is the easiest way for a child to know, and you're hanging out with horses, or you're taking your kid to go, like, trail riding or something. Calm down, woman. They tell you to put it on your palm and lay your palm really flat. And in general, that will work for children, because they'll just do that. I'm sorry I teased you here. I'm really messing up the program with this, so we'll do it like a child. So flat hand, really flat, and then they know to take it, and they don't mistake your fingers for it. If you do get your finger in there a little bit, which has happened to me, no big deal. They usually can tell that something doesn't feel quite right, so they don't bite down too hard. But as long as you go quickly and move your fingers out, you should be good. Would you like to go in there? You want to go in? Here. Meow. It's warm in there, so. Okay, so if you're not used to being around horses and you want to pet them, horses are prey animals. You don't want to go straight for the face. She wants carrots right now, so she's okay, but they'll usually flinch and throw their head back, or they'll make a sudden movement. They're reacting to what you're doing. Horses don't, usually, especially for challenges, looking them in the eye is a challenge, and then they'll start to push you because they think that you're challenging them in their territory and their herd. So they'll push you back, and usually what happens is somebody who doesn't know will be like, oh my God, this horse is attacking me, and run away. What that does is it tells the horse that they're higher, that they are able to push you around, and so they're going to do it. And for a young horse, sometimes they'll chase you back because they're playing or something. But don't go straight for, especially the eyes. Don't go near the eyes. The horse has to know you and be comfortable right away before you can start petting them on the head. You can't, this camera she's looking at the bag, but before you can start petting them on the head like that. So Nova and I have known each other since she was 6 months old. So we're bonded, and she knows what I'm about. Usually when you're approaching a horse for the first time, let's say this is a horse I don't know. A very young, active horse who really wants carrots, but a horse I don't know. So you go up and you kind of you stop here, kind of like let them look at you. You can hold out your hand, let them sniff you. Usually that won't happen when they're sniffing you. They'll kind of do it cautiously. Let's see. Okay, I don't hang out with these guys too much, so let's see if I can get them too. So we got this big guy and this big guy. These two are geldings. They're kind of eating right now, but I've got an eye. So now he's assessing me. And don't go straight for their face. Kind of go to the side. He's going to sniff me. And then they'll they'll kind of check you out. And then whatever they do, he's curious. So it's not okay to pet him yet, but he can tell that I have carrots, or I had carrots. So I can pet his nose a little. He's letting me do that. And then he'll move his head, and that means he's done. He's done with me. He's checked me out. He's like, okay, I guess you're kind of cool, but don't approach me or don't come up on me and stuff like that. Because he's a big gelding, so he's probably used to being a little bit higher. There, see, again, he's kind of like, oh, I'll go back for another sniff, and but that's okay. I'm done now. I'm gonna go back to my hay. Don't try to attack my face. So if this were out in the wild and not out in the wild, but like outside, he's kind of interested. His head is low. It's not high. His ears are kind of forward, which means he's paying attention. But he's not. What are you doing over there? Are you itchy? She's checking out. She likes the big guys, the big boys. Anyway, so he's used to me kind of now being right here. He's like, okay, well, I guess you can stay right there. So at this point, I would be paying attention to his head, especially his ears, because they're kind of back. He's listening to me. He's not pinning them. He's listening to me. So I would approach the shoulder and just do a nice little, nothing too vigorous, no pats. You don't want to hit a horse. They've got very sensitive skin. But kind of pats, and then see how he reacts from there. If he starts pinning his ears, I want to back away. Pinning ears is a warning. Active tail is a warning. In summer, it's kind of hard to tell because their tails are pretty active because of flies, but we're playing with our lips. We're playing with our lips. Okay. They have some interesting tongues. But yeah, I would want to, she's just paying attention to me. I would want to approach and kind of nicely pet. Hang on, what is this? I don't think that's one of those things. Maybe it is. It might be mud. Anyway, just kind of a nice, and she's relaxed now. She's just kind of like, okay, you're petting me. That's cool. She's licking my hand now. Their tongues they feel like human tongues, but they act like dog tongues. So it's sort of a weird, interesting mixture. But speaking of dogs, you'd never want to hang out with a horse as if it were a dog. Disney, don't listen to Disney, but they don't sit on their hind, like they usually don't sit on their, like a dog with their back ends down and they're up, this end's up. You see, she reacted. And her ears, now she's listening, but you see, she's kind of like alert. Because I made a sudden movement. That's another thing. You don't really want to have too many sudden movements around a horse, especially ones you don't know. So like having too many, they react to what you do. So if a horse will suddenly make a sudden movement, and she's relaxing now. If a horse will make a sudden movement and just like jolt their head up like she did a second ago, it means you've done something to cause that. Horses will always react to whatever you're doing. So, and you never want to go behind a horse you don't know. With Nova, what I do, it's okay. I'm not going to put any more stuff on, I promise. When I go behind her, I always touch her butt to let her know what I'm doing. And then she reacts accordingly. She's backing up to meet me. She wants more carrots. But, hi. Hi, you're fogging up the camera. Yes, you are. Their lips are investigative. Don't be alarmed if they decide to play with your clothing with their lips. They like soft things. Stuff like that. But, so never approach a horse with like as if you're attacking their face. They're prey animals. They will react to that. Never go behind a horse who doesn't know you're there. You could spook them and they will kick in response. Because in the wild, if something suddenly goes behind them and it's not another horse from their herd, it means it's a predator and they're coming up from behind to attack. So they're going to kick. You do not want to get kicked by a horse. You do not want to get stomped by a horse. I think it's pretty self-explanatory that their hooves can be extremely dangerous. So you always want to be aware of of that kind of thing. So these girls here, they know me. Sometimes I give them stuff, and I actually just gave them part of the first apple. So she's expecting this. But we're paying attention to ears. I know it's hard to see, but they're forward. She's alert. She's listening to me. This is Maribel. It's either Maribel or Sienna. This is probably Sienna. So she's lipping that. She's also bored, but she also really wants this carrot. There we go. She takes it real nice. There are some in here, especially the geldings, who will take it kind of a bit more aggressively. And you just have to pay attention. No, I'm giving your sister some. I'm giving your sister some. Their lips are so cute when they do that. So, hi Nova. You sniffing me? So, like this, they'll investigate your clothing, actually. Right now, she just really wants this carrot. I'm sorry, I'm giving this to Maribel. Maribel. Hi. Here. So she takes it a little bit more aggressively. So you just have to... She's sniffing the camera. No, it's not food. We're almost done. I'm just filming a quick video.
Huh?
I'm just filming a quick video.
Okay, only because Mary Kay just called and said she thought we were home because our dogs were out. I'm like, no, we're not home. Go look again.
Nova's giving me kisses. She's licking my knuckles. She wants more carrots.
Okay, well, hurry up.
Yeah, I'm almost done. Go ahead. That toilet is gross, but good luck. Well, it's up. So, anyway, sorry about that. I can't edit that out because my phone, I can't transfer the videos from the phone to the computer for some reason. Anyway, so yeah, she took it a little bit more aggressively. And you just pay attention. I mean, obviously you can pull away pretty quickly if you notice that sort of behavior. She's really interested in the phone. So she's a little higher, I think, than her, but she likes to be spunky and push Nova around, which is okay. That's herd hierarchy. That's how herd works. Anyway, that I refer to herd stuff in other videos, but for this one specifically, it's about people who aren't used to being around horses, who want to approach a horse and pet it. Approach cautiously, basically. Pay attention to the ears and tail. Hang on. Okay, so that's all it is for this video. So see ya. Goodbye.